Yeah, good to go.
Thank you.
Mm, three people waiting.
All right. Big class. Okay. Great. Hello, everyone.
Okay,
Right.
you can start.
Thank you. Good. I see people are just joining us and settling in, so feel free to take as long as you need. The only equipment that you need today is a set of small hand weights, so if you can have those handy. Two is great, one is fine. If you want to trade it for maybe you don't have a hand weight and you have something like soup cans or water bottles or something like that that you can hold on to just for a little bit of extra resistance, that would be great. Of course, we won't use those until our resistance portion of class. I have one of our regular planned classes, which my plan is over here out of camera. Hold on just a moment. There we go. Regular plan class today. We're going to do some intervals with my variation of some different kind of swimming moves to get our heart rate up a little bit today. And then we'll do a couple of different things today for our resistance training. So with that in mind, we are going to get started. You can be back in your chair with some back support and comfortable. Yes, in a comfortable seat, and shoulders are low. Core muscles are already a little bit engaged if possible, and we'll work on those in a minute here. I think we're going to go to our three-stage breathing again. That's one we've been doing quite a bit lately, and I do really like it for full inhale, exhale, and also for starting to engage those core muscles and sit nice and tall in our seat. So you're welcome to take your eyes to closed for a moment if you like. Our three-stage breathing is really just a big breath in, big breath out with a few focus points. So as we take an inhale, we're thinking of inhaling from our chest and then our diaphragm and then our belly. So big breath in. And then as we exhale in reverse, we squeeze air out of our belly, our diaphragm, and our chest. So on the inhale, chest, diaphragm, and belly fill with air. On the exhale, belly, diaphragm, and chest help with that exhale. So breath in for not three separate breaths, but just for a nice even count, and then out as well. Got a few more like that. Let's do it two more times. And last one. Awesome. From there, you're welcome to keep your eyes closed if you like, or open them now as we draw those tiny circles on the ceiling like we usually do. So using the crown of your head to project up like you have a crayon attached that can reach all the way to the ceiling. And then back the other way. Good. And then we'll do those bigger circles. Let's do three in each direction. So going around nice and slow, big head and neck circle. And then after those three, you'll reverse and go the other way. And then you can come on back through center. As I said, during our resistance portion, and if you've just joined us, we will be using two hand weights later today. But during our resistance portion, we're going to be doing something a little bit different with some of the shoulder blades set positioning, but for now, we're going to keep everything pretty much the same as usual. So just draw those shoulder blades back towards each other for a little bit of a squeeze and a release. And see at the same time if you can get, actually, let's maybe do them as two separate things. Give me just a moment here. Let's do two more like this. Shoulder blades squeeze and release, shoulder blades squeeze and release. So of course, as we pull our shoulder blades together, I don't want my low back to push forward, kind of push my belly out. So let's do one more thing first. That belly button squeeze towards backbone, make it very small. Just a little squeeze in and a release. Good. Same again, squeeze and release. So I talk about this like a seatbelt of muscle that you feel turning on. So just that little bit of tension, belly button to backbone. Maybe you feel like you need to press into your chair back just a little bit to get that feeling. That's okay too, as long as wheels are locked and you're not in any risk of tipping. We'll do one more like that. And then we're actually going to do those things both together. So I don't want you to think about this as being your low back muscles working. It's your core muscles working to protect so that your shoulder blades can squeeze together without your spine kind of changing in its curve. So let's do shoulder blades together, core muscles engaged, and release. Good. Again, shoulder blades together, belly button slightly to backbone, and release. We'll do two more like that. And last one. Awesome. All right, let's get some more movement going here. Give me a bicep curl one side and then the other. We'll get those arms moving a bit more. Of course, that'll get blood pumping and our heart rate up just a little bit as we go, and then we will add in our cardio shortly. Good. Let's do this as a forward arm raise instead. So long arm raise up to about shoulder level. Doesn't need to be that high if maybe your shoulders have been a bit sore and there's a point where it creates a little bit of pain. Let's not go there. Let's let the joint warm up in its comfortable range. And last two. And one. And then we're going to go to the side first with a bent elbow. So we need to keep those shoulders set here as we go into what I call a wing flap off to the side. And let's actually make it active on the way down too. So you're reaching up, pulling down. So lat muscles are getting just a little bit of work here too. Good, last two. And one. We're going to a longer reach next, so make sure you have space around you for this one to do long arm reach out to the side. And you can still kind of think that imagine that you have resistance both pressing up and pushing down, like the air is thick and you have to like work to press your arm through it. Good, last three, two, and one. Awesome. All right, shoulders are set. We're going to do some triceps next. So now same kind of feel. The air is thick, so we don't have resistance in hand, but we're kind of creating that little bit of extra resistance by pressing with an open palm probably to the back. So we're getting those triceps just above the elbow, so in the upper back of your arm. Warmed up and ready. Last one each way there. And then we'll make this a long arm reach instead. So both arms are going to start forward and then press back a little bit longer. Good, last two. And one. Awesome. And let's do a little bit of overhead move next. So shoulders are set. We'll do the press now to be up overhead, one side and then the other. Again, make it a really active press. Shoulders stay set, so they're not creeping up by your ear, but that hand has to work hard to push up. Good, last two. And one. All right, one last thing per side in this kind of vein of movement, and then we'll change things up a little bit. So I'd like you to do a few small shoulder circles to the back. So it's kind of going to be more like stirring the pot, like low, and then go back the other direction. Good, last one. We're actually going to stay on this same side and do one more thing while we're here. So we're going to come up to about shoulder level with the elbow bent and do a little bit of rotational work here. So it'll be fingertips face towards the camera, fingertips face towards the ceiling. Good, we'll just do two more there. And one. Awesome. Same thing on the other side. So we're going to start with that big stirring motion. Probably to the back. If you're moving to the front instead, that's fine. We'll do the opposite way in a minute. Good, last one, and then you'll change direction, go the other way. Three, two, and one. Awesome, and then on this side, we'll set that shoulder in place, elbow up to do fingertips forward, fingertips to the ceiling. Good, three more. Two, and one. All right, bring that down. One thing that we have to do before we're done warm up is rotation because there'll be some options for some rotation once we get to our swimming portion, swimming movements. So both hands on the same side, lap for a moment. Maybe you're slightly forward of your chair if that's available to you, just to give yourself a little bit more room to move, but you can be at your chair back if you need to be. So our rotation is coming mid-spine here as we move to look side through center. Nice and comfortable range. So we're not looking to force a movement that our spine does not want to go in. The last two and one. Good. And then we'll do the same on the other side. So just adjust your seat nice and even in your chair from side to side. And then the same thing on this other side, rotating side through center. Good. We'll do three more here. And one. Awesome. Okay, so we are pretty much warmed up and ready to go. I'm going to grab a quick drink of water and I'm going to grab my timer. Actually, maybe I won't use the timer quite yet. We'll intro all the movements and then I'll start the timer. That'll be a good way to finish our warm up anyway. Okay, so we've warmed up shoulders, excuse me, but I want you to be gentle to yourself. So the first one we're going to do is my version of the backstroke. So rear arm circles, basically, right? Because this is our first one, and I'm not using the timer yet, we'll do 45-second intervals here shortly, that we want to see how this feels. So we're just kind of testing it out. How does it feel from the shoulders? How big can I go where it's still comfortable? In a moment, can I move faster? Can I rotate a little bit and still keep control using some more core? Lots of things to think about here. I'll cue you on some of those in a minute. So that's number one. Number two is what I'm going to call our swim to surface. So you're going to go up and reach around to come down. So press up, reach down. And this can be a really active push to push down. So we were talking about the air being thick. That's on our way down. We're really getting that extra bit of muscle work here. We can do this one fast. We can do it slow and really focus on posture and get some extra opening through the rib cage area. So just at the base of the rib cage. We can do one more for now. Okay, so that'll be number two. Number three is going to be our front crawl or forward arm circles. We have some options here as well, of course. It can be paying attention to the shoulders, so smaller moves if needed, bigger moves, starting to rotate and hinge just a little bit, so really reaching for those strokes, engaging some extra core muscles here. So lots of ways to modify this one to suit your body. Last one each way. And then our fourth one is going to be our modified breaststroke. So apologies on form, but we're gonna shoot forward and pull around. So pretty much the same as we did up to swim to surface, but now it's forward. So we have the option of being tall with chair support or hinge and reach for that big swooping move to come back upright. Last two and one. All right, so that's our intervals for today. We're gonna do all four of them for 45 seconds, take a 45-second rest, and usually we do that 4 times through with some tweaks along the way. So here we go. 45 seconds is on the timer. We are going with our backstroke first. So rear shoulder circles. Again, we just finished warm up. Those shoulders are getting more lubricated, the muscles more warm and ready to go. But if your shoulders maybe have been bothering you and you want to keep it to smaller moves, that's fine, or big sweeping moves. Lots of core work happening here too, to keep us stable as our arms are moving this way. Got about 5 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. We've got the swim to surface next. You're gonna push for the ceiling and then swoop down to your sides. So if you're thinking about really reaching for that top point, you can maybe get that little feeling of more opening through your torso. It's a little bit taller in your seat. I'm getting warm already. Good, we got about 10 more seconds here. Keep those shoulders low. 2 and 1. Awesome, we got our front crawl next. So you can do just the arm circles to the front, upright close to your chair back. Start to hinge and move a little bit bigger, or really big hinge, reach and rotate. Make sure you're paying attention to how this feels for you. Good, we got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome, and last one in this set is our my version of the breaststroke. So you are pushing forward, pulling off to the side to meet back to center. Maybe you're hinging, nice long spine, engaged core. Good, really engage those lat muscles as well as you pull your arms back around to their starting point. 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. That is our first round done. Stretch it out, grab a drink of water, give yourself a hug if you like. Maybe drop your chin to your chest and slowly shake your head back and forth. Bring your gaze back up. Might tip your ear to one side and then the other. We have about 10 more seconds left, and my timer is going to tell me it's time to start again. If you need more time, that's okay. 3, 2, and 1. Here we go with our back crawl. Round 2. So I think I've already said this, but with the back crawl, we have that option of a little bit of rotation towards the moving arm. So we can do just a little bit of work where our core muscles, our obliques specifically, off to the sides of our belly are engaging to help to support this rotation. If you're doing that, you might find that you don't need to move as fast, or it's hard to move faster to keep that engagement as well. So I'm going to pick which one is working better for you. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. I think I missed that timer. And let's go for our swim to the ceiling. Let's say swim to the surface. That sounds better. Good. So shooting your arms up, active pull down. Good. We have about 10 more seconds left on this one. 3, 2, and 1. We are going to our front crawl next. So forward arm rotations with the option of a little bit of a hinge and the option of a little bit of rotation as well through the spine. Again, lots of core work going on here if you are hinging and or rotating. So make sure you feel well supported, whichever one you are doing. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Shake out those shoulders. Let's go for our last one of this sequence to do our modified breaststroke. Hinge is optional. Good. Keep going here. Just a little bit longer. This is our last one of round 2. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Come on up tall. Shake it out. Again, maybe another little stretch, ear towards shoulder. And the other way. Grab a drink of water if you need it. We're coming up on round 3 of 4. This one I'll demo a couple of change ups on just your front and back crawl variations. And you can pick whatever's working best for you. We have about 10 more seconds left here just to shake it out before we get going again. All right, 3, 2, and 1. You're welcome to do the same as we were doing. So our backstroke or rear shoulder circles, or if you would like to try both at the same time, I think it might be more like the hand motion for skipping rope. So kind of that feeling of skipping backwards, right? Good. So both arms moving together typically means we're working a little bit harder. We're not now doing the rotational moves, so we're not using our core muscles quite the same way. So kind of maybe a little bit of a trade-off on this exercise. And then of course, for the last, we only got about 5 more seconds. If you want to go back to the more natural one side and then the other, 3, 2, and 1. Good. To the ceiling, nothing's changing for that one. You can speed it up a little bit, maybe shorten the moves and speed it up and see how that feels too for this one if you'd like. Shoulders stay low though, keep them away from your ears. So even at the top point of your move, you're not shrugging shoulders up to ears. About 15 seconds left here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Front crawl has the same option, one side and then the other, or both scooping together. You can make this a scoop, or you can make it more like your jumping rope arms to the front. I'll let you decide which of those two feels like it's a good challenge for you. We're almost done round 3 here. 10 more seconds on this one more exercise to go. 3, 2, and 1. All right, the last one is our breaststroke. So maybe you're really reaching for that forward motion. Almost done this one. Keep going. We got 10 more seconds left. 3, 2, and 1. Oh, that's 3 done. All right. So our fourth one, usually I give some options to slow down and think a little bit more about the motion, so it's not as much of a heart rate raiser. I will let you decide what you feel like. You already know what to do, so if you want to keep heart rate up and do as we have been doing for the last 3 sets, you're welcome to do that, or switching it up to go just a little bit slower. Some of these ones lend themselves better than others to our slow motion moves, but they'll all work just fine for that. So we have about 10 seconds left and we'll get into our last interval round. Good. 3, 2, and 1. So first we have our back crawl or rear arm rotation. So if you'd like to make this more about focusing on some core muscles, you can think about moving slower. One hand can be available on the chair if you need that extra stability. So you could always stay on one side and do about 3 of them if you want to kind of stabilize with one hand, move with the other arm. Or keep moving fast if that is what you would like to do today. So I'm really working on that engagement through core muscles, my oblique muscles off to the side. 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. To the ceiling, just gets a little extra time if you want it to really reach and feel what it feels like to be fully expanded through your torso before you pull the air down to meet your hands at center. So a little more reach and a little more lat pull down. So lat muscles engaging to pull your arms down. 3, 2, and 1. That was a weird count. There you go. Front crawl, same thing. You can slow it down as it was. You can start to hinge and hold that hinge. You can hinge and rotate slow motion. Lots of options. Maybe you're doing one of these again and you want that extra support. So you're going to stay on one side and do a few. And then you're going to offer some support hand on the lap to do a few on the other side. That's an option too. Or alternating like we were doing. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Come back up tall. Our last one is our modified breaststroke. So coming forward, swooping around, same as we did for swim to surface. Just a little extra time to hinge, reach, and then activate lat muscles, back muscles to pull those arms through what we're imagining is water, right? So that big pull around. Good, we got 10 more seconds left here. We are done our intervals after that. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, you made it. We are done that part. Let me stop my timer. And we will get started with some resistance work. Okay, I'm going to be using my weights for the next bit. Some of these are a little bit more nitpicky, I guess, a little bit more of a thought process to how our body moves and how our joints kind of articulate. So we'll still get some work out of this for sure, but a little bit more kind of thought process involved maybe than some of the classes. For that reason, maybe you'll decide not to have your weights in hand. I will let you decide, and it might be different exercise to exercise as well. So the first one we're going to do, I'm going to grab my weights again, totally optional if you would like to, is one we've done before. And we're going to do it the way we've done it before first, but then we're going to make a little change. So I think we'll only do 6 of these. Shoulders set, arms are down with your palms facing back. So we talk about the trapezius muscles, and those are our stress muscles, right, at the base of our neck that create all that tension and kind of trace down to our shoulders, sometimes down our back a little bit as well. The muscles do go down the back as well. So to the front, that's where we put a lot of that tension, is with that forward shoulder shrug. We want to do the opposite now. We want to shrug to squeeze the top of our shoulder blades towards each other to the back. So you're imagining that your shoulder blades can touch and kind of squeeze together at the very top end of the shoulder blades. So we are shrugging our shoulders up, but we're shrugging them back and then up. Really different. I said we were going to do 6 of these. I have no clue how many I have done. Let's do 2 more. And 1. Okay, so before we do the next set of those, I want you to think about how our arm moves. So our humerus bone, our upper arm bone, can move in our shoulder socket with rotation. So give me, this will be an exercise in itself, but just give me one kind of test run of letting your arms roll to like an open position, palms forward, using that rotation. So you kind of got to focus on what's going on. So your arms are opening up because the arm bone, top arm bone, is rotating to open and then rotating to close, palms facing in towards each other. So now we're going to do 6 of those just as they are, really no difference. But it takes our shoulders back just a little bit, not enough that our shoulder blades squeeze together. Our shoulder blades might not even move for this one. They might just stay in a nice set position, but it's taking our shoulders back away from that slightly rounded positioning that we sometimes end up in. Let's just do 2 more for now. And 1. Awesome. Okay, and then one more thing with both these weights for now, and I think we will drop 1 after that. Shoulders set. We're going to go back to that same position that we just did, but not quite as strongly. So we're going to go rotating just enough that I feel like the that bone has kind of rotated in the shoulder socket, but not into a big move, right? So just kind of a gentle rotation. And then from here, we're going to do another set of 6 of those rear shoulder shrugs. So you're going to take your shoulder blades and squeeze them close together and then release them. Good. So we'll do 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so I'm going to set one weight down. We won't need two weights from here on in. We'll just get a couple more things done. So one of them, this is an exercise that we've done a variation of before, but not quite this. So we're going to draw some figure eights. It can be with a weight or it can just be with your hands. So I'm going to show you first with my hands because I think there's less distraction that way anyway. So I could just make fist over fist. And we're going to draw an upwards figure eight. So you're going to go up, around, and down. If you feel like this is easy for you, you're gonna grab your weight. Keep going, right? So it would be held like this, up around. So we don't want to do this one fast. We want to take some time to kind of focus on how this feels. Good. Last one this direction. We'll do a few the other way now just to kind of even things out a little bit. This is challenging our core muscles as well. So maybe you're at your chair back right now, full support. Last one. Okay, good. Set that weight down. Take a little rest, shake out your shoulders. So we want those shoulders to be in that set position while we do it. If the weight's heavy, or maybe it's a movement that's a little bit difficult for me, I'll start to kind of like shrug my shoulders as well to help with it. I want shoulders low. So if that means the movement's smaller or there's no weight, that is fine. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing now. I feel like this one's a little bit easier to draw a figure eight this way. We're gonna go side to side instead. So side to side figure eight or lying down figure eight, whatever you want to call it. Okay, if that feels good, taking the weight, doing them here. Good, change direction. Two more. And one. All right, bring that weight down to your lap again. This is probably our last exercise for today, unless I decide to sneak one more in, but we're gonna do our side flex. And I'm gonna let you decide right from the start. We're gonna do 6 of them per side, which way your hand is going to face. So because we did those shoulder shrugs, the rear shoulder shrugs, we had our palm facing in towards us for some. So weight down, palm facing in. And then we had that rotation through the humerus bone to bring it out to the side. Which one of those do you want to now do for your side flex? I will let you pick. So we're flexing towards the weighted side and then using our opposite oblique muscles to pull up. Maybe you need your hand on the chair. Maybe you decide that you don't need a weight to do this exercise today. How many did I say we were doing? 5? Maybe. Let's do 6 because we did 6 of a few other things. Good. When you've done 6 of those, you will reset and decide on the other side how that's going to look as well. Palm facing in, palm facing out because my arm has rotated into that set position through the shoulder. Same thing here. Flexing towards the weighted side, using the opposite muscle groups to pull up. I'm actually going to count this time. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, lucky you. There's enough time to do one last resistance exercise. We're going to do rotator cuff for our last one today. And we are going to do that with 2 different hand positions as well. And we will do it with both hand positions here. So weight is coming across body, elbow is glued at your side, and palm is facing in. So we're going to keep that palm positioning. So neutral wrist. Good, we'll just do one more like this. And then we're gonna rotate that palm to face up. And we're going to finish off here. Last two and one. Awesome. Let's do the same on the other side. Weight is optional for these exercises as well, especially if you've had a rotator cuff injury. Elbows close to your side, palm is facing in to rotate side through center. And honestly, that's the same move, isn't it? It's our upper arm bone rotating in the shoulder joint, shoulder socket. Good. Last one like that. And then turn your palm to face up, shoulders set, finishing off here. Let's do 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. All right, you can set that weight down. We are done with it for today. Let's get some stretching going. We're going to start with our big sweeping arm across to give a little hug. So shoulder stays set to begin with. Shoulder stays low. Sweep across, give it a little hug. If you would like to rotate slightly into the stretch and maybe look over your shoulder, we're getting a bit more multitasking done, getting some other stretches done at the same time. Good. Ease your way back through center. Whichever arm you used just now, we're going to keep using it for a few different stretches here. So the next one we're going to reach, let's see, we're going to reach up and overhead actually, just a few times of just a gentle range of motion to get a little stretch through our lat muscles and then back. Just going to do one more like that. And then let's actually do that as a bit of a stretch that we pause for a moment. So hand on your lap or on the chair, free hand. Same side that you just were reaching with. You're going to reach with a tiny side flex and a really active press to hold. Don't hold your breath though. Take some nice even breaths in and out. Good. Ease your way out of that one. Check out that shoulder. We'll do one more on this side before we switch up to the other side. So let's go. Hand is gently on the back of your head, opening up that shoulder to put your elbow out to the side. Awesome. You can bring that arm down. Let's do the same on the other side. If I can remember what we were doing. Oh, yes. Sweeping across. There we go. Shoulder is low. Hugging that arm in. Maybe reaching with a little bit of rotation to look over your shoulder. Good. Ease your way back through center. This second side, we're going to keep using it now to do a few up and over reaches, just kind of in range. We'll just do 2 more. And 1. And then with some support on your lap or the arm of the chair, we're going to reach up to pause here and take a few breaths in and out. Good. Ease your way back through center. Our last one that we did on the other side, we'll do here too. Shoulder is set, arm is up, hand is gently on the back of your head to open up through chest and front shoulder, elbow off to the side. Okay, you can ease your way out of that one. I would like to do a little bit of neck release now. So we are going to do that a couple different ways. We're going to start with one hand in our imaginary back pocket or on our hip, whichever you prefer. A little bit of elbow back, and then we're going to drop our gaze towards the opposite hip. You can let your shoulders sit low. You can let that elbow pull back a little bit if that feels good, but shoulders still low. Good. And then you're going to ease your head back through neutral. We're going to keep this arm here tucked behind our back if that's comfortable for you. You can take it out if it's not. And we're going to drop our ear towards our shoulder, away from our arm that's tucked behind the back. We have a free hand that we can use to give a little bit of extra stretch support if you like to the head. So just a nice gentle pressure if you're doing that. And then you can ease your way out of both sides of that stretch. We're going to go to the other side to do the same thing. So tucking your hand either onto your hip or in your back pocket. Shoulders are set low. We're looking down towards our hip on the opposite side. Good. Bringing your head back through neutral. Dropping our ear to the shoulder instead on that same side. And then maybe using the hand for a little extra gentle pressure to intensify the stretch. Ease your way out of that one. Okay, we have, this next one has a couple of different options for you, so apologies while I talk my way through it. We're gonna take both hands on your hips or in your back pockets to start. If you have the core control to be away from your chair back just a little bit, that might be nice for this one. So firstly, we're gonna pull elbows back, pressing our hands into our hips as we often do. You are welcome to stay here. No other changes needed. You're still getting a nice stretch. You're getting an opening up through your chest so you can take some nice even breaths in and out. If you're able to slightly hinge in this position, we get just a little bit more release through potentially low back and hips. And then if, depending on your chair setup, you and your shoulders, if you're able to reach for your chair back instead and grab on, in this case, I have rails on my chair, to that and start to, I say, kind of hinge like you're a ski jumper. That feeling. Shoulders away from your ears, arms back, long spine. Take a few breaths in and out here. Good. All right. You can ease your way to that one. Slide back on your chair for some back support. I have one more slightly multi-step thing to do and we'll be done for today. So I want to release through our forearms just a little bit. But here's a little tidbit that I've been sharing is just something that I think is really cool about our body, is that our two lower arm bones articulate around each other when we do things like flip over our palm. So you could always, depending on mobility levels, you can kind of set your forearm on your lap so that you can see that is a more isolated move, or you're welcome to do it up in space. Maybe you're holding your elbow. So the movement is not coming from my shoulder joint, it's coming from the elbow down, and it's actually those two lower arm bones moving around each other to create this movement, which I think is pretty cool. Last one. So it's a nice one to, kind of practice that we can do that isolated move from the elbow down. While we're here, palm's going to be facing down, arm is extended on that side, and then we're going to put some gentle pressure on the back of the hand just to get our outer forearm stretch. You might find you get a little bit better stretch if you kind of make a fist first and then roll that wrist. Good. Ease your way out of that one. Same thing on the other side. Maybe you want to play around for a minute with that rotation. And then from there, we'll go into our stretch. Shoulder is set, arm is extended. So that means straight elbow to pull that wrist back and get a stretch through our forearm. Good. You can ease your way out of that one. We're going to finish off with just that 3-stage breathing just a couple of times before we do our final breaths to end class. So again, if you want to tune into the big breath that is first chest, then diaphragm, then belly, and then the exhale from belly, diaphragm, and chest. So big breath in, coming tall in your chair, and an exhale, keeping most of that length, but really exhaling all the air out. So big breath in, chest, diaphragm, belly, and an equally big exhale, belly, diaphragm, and chest. We'll do one more like that. Awesome. We are finishing off as always, starting down low, reaching for the ceiling 3 times. Awesome. Thanks for joining me today. As usual, if you want to pop on and say hello or have any questions for me, let me know.
Thanks, Julie.
Thanks, Gordon. I see your message. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much, Julie. Appreciate it.
Doreen.
Thank you for the stretches on the neck.
Yeah, sorry to see that your neck is so sore. I was watching you rub it during class. It's feeling
Well,
tight, eh?
It wasn't sore, but then something kind of
Oh,
pulled
yeah.
when